Straight ahead on 12 News, teaming up to save a tower.
So important. It's an emotional icon, I think.
What it will take to preserve an Osseo landmark. Plus, a big boost for hoops in Maple Grove. See what's taking shape next to the junior high. But first, as new state employment numbers come out, one group says workers are finding jobs as fast as they can train them.
Nothing better than getting a phone call saying, hey, I just got that job.
12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Depending on whom you ask, the economy is either doing very well or it could be better.
According to the state's Department of Employment and Economic Development, unemployment in Minnesota is at its lowest level since May of 2001. The state added 6,600 jobs in November, the fourth straight month of above-average gains. However, the numbers have a glaring weakness along racial lines. The unemployment rate for blacks jumped a full point to above 11%. And today, DFL Representative Ryan Winkler of Golden Valley took a dim view on the state of today's economy. On Twitter, he wrote, "Today the middle class shrinks while the economy grows. More free trade without economic reforms helps the elite, leaves the rest behind." So what needs to happen to make the economy better for everyone, especially in terms of wage growth?
Job counselors with the nonprofit Hired say there are jobs out there. It might just be a matter of getting a few weeks of training.
I didn't know what to do. I was full of shame, you know. I don't know if it's okay to ask for help to pay your bills, if it's okay to ask to get food support.
It was a tough 3-year job search for Edith Johnson. Medical bills piled up, and she signed up for assistance for the first time ever.
I struggle, like I said, provide for my 2 children. I have my house in foreclosure.
Now she is literally on the other side of the table, helping people who are going through the same thing she did.
Sometimes you hear nothing but frustration when people call, that you need to learn how to empathize with those people.
For Edith, the turning point was a 3-week-long class offered by Hired on customer service. It is entry-level work, but it can be a breakthrough for people looking for a new start.
Most all of them are either unemployed when they come in and it's a part of our training, or they're working low-income jobs. The pay they're getting may be good, but maybe they're only working 8 to 10 hours a week.
After taking the class, Edith now works a customer service job for Community Action Partnership of suburban Hennepin County. It's where many low-income families go to help pay heating bills.
It's great for us because they know how to interact with clients in a professional, kind manner, and make sure that people are getting quality customer service.
And customer service is one area that's in need of workers. Todd Erickson says they get hired as fast as they're trained.
We've had a few times when somebody who we've sent us a company, a business we've sent people to in the past, has contacted me and saying, when do you have another class? We're needing to hire some more people.
For Edith, it's more than just customer service.
I treat every single file that I touch it. I put my heart on it.
Hired has a training session that's set to begin in January in Brooklyn Park. And for more information about that, you can contact Hired directly at 952-697-1317.
Now to an update on the Maple Grove rest stop shooting that left 1 man dead and a suspect later shot and killed by police. Authorities identified the suspect killed as 18-year-old Jonathan Marr of Kennewick, Washington. That's about 30 miles from the Oregon border. The Ramsey County Medical Examiner says Marr died of multiple gunshot wounds. Police say Marr had displayed a weapon before he was shot by law enforcement. It happened after a police chase through the North Metro that reached speeds of more than 115 miles per hour. The chase followed a shooting at the rest stop off of I-94 and Weaver Lake Road that left another man dead. And as we went to air, the Hennepin County Medical Examiner identified the person killed at the rest stop as 23-year-old Matthew Maffei with no permanent address listed. According to authorities, he died from a gunshot wound to the head.
As the Minnesota Department of Health calls the flu widespread throughout the state, local school districts are noticing a higher than usual rate of absences. In the Osseo School District, while they can't directly attribute it to the flu, student absences are up about 33% over the past 2 weeks. Staff absence rates are up about 10%. Similarly, in the Robbinsdale School District, they are also seeing a higher than average number of absences. The Minnesota Department of Health also reports 2 influenza-related deaths in the state. Both cases involve kids under the age of 18.
A variety of facilities in the Northwest Metro for youth sports will see major improvements. Construction is nearly complete on this new gymnasium next to Maple Grove Junior High School. Project organizers received a $100,000 grant from Hennepin County to help fund the $8 million gymnasium. Once construction is finished next month, it will be the primary home of the Osseo Maple Grove Basketball Association. The complex will feature 3 tournament courts and more than 50 hoops for boys and girls in grades 1 through 12.
Well, we're very appreciative of the $100,000 grant we received from Hennepin County. It was part of the youth sports thing and the Twin Stadium tax. It's really going to knock a year of payments off that the Basketball Association has to pay back the city of Maple Grove.
Other county grant recipients include the Zane Sports Park in Brooklyn Park, Bassett Creek Park in Crystal, and the Sandberg Learning Center in Golden Valley. This summer, the Osseo Water Tower will turn 100.
The century-old tower is now only used as a landmark, and it needs expensive repairs. 12 News reporter Shannon Slatton shares why some citizens believe the tower is worth saving.
This is my home. I was born and raised here.
There's something about Osseo
Coming back, it was coming home, literally.
that drew Kathleen Getty back.
I moved back and bought the home that I grew up in.
The house hasn't changed too much,
It was the best decision I've ever made.
and Kathleen doesn't want the view out of her front window to change either.
That's why one of the reasons I'm so passionate about saving the tower, because it's a landmark, it's an icon.
Since 1915, the Osseo Water Tower has been a part of the city's skyline. Long after it stopped holding water, the siren still sounds at noon and 6 p.m. for the farmers to know it's time to stop for lunch or dinner.
I would be personally devastated if it was torn down.
Kathleen is leading a mission to save the tower,
Someone bought a button.
assisted by her daughter Lauren.
We went to a craft fair and we sold like $20 worth of buttons to one person.
Together, they run an active Facebook page, make buttons and magnets.
I definitely think that it would have just been over if my mom wouldn't have stepped up and actually made a voice for the tower.
And work on getting the tower recognized by the Minnesota Historical Society. Repairs could cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, money the small town of Osseo doesn't have.
One of the also big problems is that it's covered in lead-based paint.
So getting historical status means access to state and federal repair dollars.
What we're trying to ultimately do is try to save the water tower. It needs a lot of repairs, and they're very expensive repairs. But we're trying to save it as best we can using non-tax dollars from the city.
That strikes a chord with Osseo.
Because Osseo is a town of a lot of retired people, and we're not going to be able to keep the upkeep.
Many would like to keep the landmark.
It's been there my whole life, and I'd like to see it saved.
It's on the city's logo and banners.
It's what makes Osseo the town it is.
Is so important. It's an emotional icon, I think.
The effort to save the tower shows Osseo's small-town charm comes not from the landmark,
Save the water tower.
but from the people who want to save it.
Osseo does have a certain identity, and I think the tower is a big part of that.
A report on the historical value of the water tower will be out in early spring. The city has high hopes it will obtain that status because Elk River's 94-year-old water tower received the status back in 2012. Mike and Alex.
All right, thank you, Shannon. Still ahead, we head to Breck to meet this week's standout student.
And then a little bit later in sports, a former Cooper High School wrestling coach is back at the school to help rebuild the Hawks program.
But first, nothing frightening on Friday. We may even see another peek of the sun.
He is not only making the grade, Breck senior Kwaku Bodom also wants to make a difference in the world.
Bodom is also a force on the football field. Reporter Sonia Goins has more on this week's standout student.
Mr. Rossler, how are you?
Kwaku Bodom walks the halls of Breck with a lot of confidence and pride.
I had an art history final I had to take today. It went pretty well.
Kwaku is captain of the football team.
This is our headshot that we got.
Number 44.
My favorite sport is football.
The 6-foot, 187-pound linebacker and running back is making major moves on the field. He's the Mustangs' top tackler.
I'm a competitor. It's either on the track field or the basketball court. I'm trying to be the best.
He's also encouraging others to get in the game.
2 years ago, I started a Special Olympics basketball game just to get Special Olympics athletes out, exposing the Breck community.
Kwaku also hits the books hard.
Math usually isn't my best subject, but this year I've just been working really hard. Now I have an A in it.
One of his favorite subjects is women's writing.
It's tough.
He says he was apprehensive about taking the class because he's a male.
I just learned so much, just about me, but like about what gender is and like, what are women's struggles and how as a male I can help that.
Fabulous to watch.
His teachers say he's a role model in and out of the classroom.
He's just an extraordinary young man, and what I like so much is that he moves through the world sort of unaware of how wonderful he is.
Kwaku says he wouldn't be a standout student without the help of his teachers and friends.
I talked about in my senior speech about having a village, and I think that's so important to be a good person in this world.
In Golden Valley, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Kwaku will go to Carleton College next fall, where he will play football. He says he wants to major in political science or economics. Outstanding, isn't he? Yeah. Well, still ahead, Meatballs on the mind in Golden Valley.
But first in sports, the unbeaten Maple Grove boys basketball team gets ready to face the number 3 team in the state. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
A couple of basketball heavyweights, no defeats on these records right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a great showdown on Friday night, I think. Great game to go to. The Northwest suburbs are well represented in the top 10 of Class 4A boys basketball this season. Maple Grove hosts another ranked team Friday night. The 5th-ranked Crimson is getting set to face number 3 Armstrong. Maple Grove is off to a 7-0 start after pulling away Berry Spring Lake Park 83-43 Tuesday. The Crimson expected to be strong and have been pleased with how things are going.
I expected what I've seen so far. We've been working great as a team, running what coach wants us to run and, just feeding off of each other. Everyone has had a great game this year. It switches off. That's why we're a tough team to guard.
We're getting better every single game. We started a little slow some games. Last game, coach had to give us a little screaming at halftime, but we picked it up. And we're learning every game.
The Maple Grove guys know that Friday won't be an easy test. Armstrong is 8-0 and has a deep team. It's a game that Maple Grove players and fans are looking forward to.
It's a good matchup. Very talented team. They have a nice mixture of veterans and younger guys, talent all the way through down their bench. They're very good. They're very talented. Going to be a tough test. I expect a great game.
You can watch Maple Grove against Armstrong Friday night on Channel 12 and 12.tv. The game is live at 7 o'clock, or catch the replay Saturday night at 7 and 10 and Sunday morning at 10. The early results are pretty good for the Park Center Gymnastics team, too. The Pirates have had a resurgence in the sport in the last couple of seasons. Park Center enters Thursday night's meet at Irondale with a 2-1 record, and they placed 3rd at the Champlain Park Invitational last weekend. The Pirates have scored in the 128 in all 3 of their dual meets and reached 129.175 at the Invitational. It's definitely been a promising start.
I think we improved a lot from last year. We started the season off like we ended it last year, as in points-wise, so that's good.
I think we're doing really good because it's just really cool to see how we're all improving, and it's just really fun to see everybody learning new tricks and supporting each other and stuff.
The Pirates have gotten a few more girls with club gymnastics backgrounds lately and have also seen some strong improvement from girls who've been in the program. They hope by the end of the season to be an even better team.
We're trying to improve our scores and our skill level and trying to hit all the requirements for all the events so that we can get our scores bumped up and just kind of work towards sections.
I would like to make Champlain really nervous in the section. I don't know if that's going to happen. A lot of things have to come together for that to work. But we have got enough talent, so if we put it together, we could get up and score around 135.
After Thursday night's meet versus Irondale, the Pirates are off from competition until January 8th when they host Elk River Zimmerman. What's old is new again in the Cooper wrestling program. They brought back a former longtime coach to lead the Hawks. Tim Hansen is back after 3 years away, assisted again by his father, Randy. Hansen had resigned to devote more time to his family and full-time job, but had the urge to get back into coaching. When Eric Rogness resigned as Hawks coach to take the head coaching position at Chaska, the timing was right for Hansen to return to Cooper.
You know, I just I'd been away for a while and kind of recharged my batteries, and I missed it, and I missed Cooper High School, so decided to come back and get back in the room, and but more than anything, just miss being around the kids and bringing them along.
We have a lot of hard practices here, but he doesn't concentrate on cutting weight like our former coach, which is nice. He gives us a little more ease. It's a lot of technical stuff, a lot of technical work.
The Hawks don't have a lot of varsity experience and have started a little slow. They went 1-2 Wednesday at a quad meet at Park Center. It'll take some hard work to get better as a group, but they're ready for that with the older kids leading the way.
With like senior leadership and upperclassmen and like people who wrestled before, half of it comes from us and half of it comes from the coaches, I'd say, because we're the people that work with them on the mat and we're the people that tell them while we're wrestling with them, like, oh, that's not the right thing. You should be doing it this way. That way it works better.
The Hawks next take the mat January 8th at Benilde St. Margaret's. And that's it for sports tonight, Thursday, live on Channel 12. Cooper at Armstrong in girls basketball.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, just how Swedish are they?
A special serving of meatballs when we come back. There is a heavenly star over a neighborhood in Maple Grove, and we found this holiday lighting display in the 11,600 block of 65th Avenue in Maple Grove. On the ground, you can find a cast of holiday characters. If there's an impressive holiday lighting display in your neighborhood, let us know about it. Send an email to news@12.tv. All week, a Golden Valley church has been preparing a one-of-a-kind meal for the community.
Tonight, Thursday evening, Calvary Lutheran Church will serve up a free Swedish meatball dinner. Volunteers have been preparing more than 3,500 Swedish meatballs for the dinner. It's the first time that the church has hosted a dinner for the community as part of its Christmas celebration.
There's a lot of Scandinavian heritage in the West Metro, and even if you're not Scandinavian, Swedish meatballs are just something not to be missed.
Following the dinner, a worship service will highlight the story of St. Nicholas, which of course is the inspiration behind today's Santa Claus. Calvary Lutheran plans 6 Christmas Eve services and 1 service on Christmas Day. And just an FYI, Swedish meatballs are actually the national dish of Sweden. So there you go.
They were on the menu at my house a lot growing
A
up.
little lefse too. That
See you
does it
tomorrow.
for us.